eyes, soften your jaw, lift your heart, and tune into the rhythm of your breath. Feel that the inhale is a sense of gathering and lifting, and then there's just a gentle, slight pause before the spilling over into the exhale. Almost as if it's water gathering and then spilling over in a waterfall. Inhaling to gather that pool, and exhaling to let it out. Let it flow outward. Gathering upward and flowing downward. There's just a little bit of a pause in between the inhale and the exhale. So if you continue to watch this video and do it a second or third time, you can layer on different pranayama techniques, which I'll be sharing with you at the beginning of next week. Otherwise, just a deep inhale, a long exhale for about a minute more. And as you're breathing, you're just concentrating fully on the breath, the quality of your breath today. Wherever you are, meet your breath. Letting go of any thoughts about what happened just before you came into this space or what you might be doing next. You're just here sitting with your breath. Gently, slowly now, begin to lower your chin down towards chest. And on the inhale, lift chin up towards ceiling. Lower chin back down towards chest. And inhale, lift up towards ceiling. And then coming back down, chin towards chest, releasing shoulders down, soft jaw, long back of neck, nice tall spine, rooting down into your sits bones, and then beginning to take a clockwise head roll. Close your eyes here if you like, and just go as slowly as you like to really feel that interesting rotation of the head, the cervical spine, all the way around in one direction, and then all the way around in the other. So no rush, no need to rush. Sometimes the slower the better. And then coming back to your central spine, neutral spine, bring your head back to parallel with the floor. Begin to lift the shoulders up and exhale away and down. A couple more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release and down. By the way, I apologize if sometimes I'm not looking directly at the camera. It's because my monitor is different than my webcam, and I keep on forgetting to look at the webcam instead. Okay, and then you can reach your arms all the way up and bring some movement into your hands and your wrists. Reaching all the way up through the fingertips, lifting heart, releasing shoulders down. Please take a twist towards any side, either side. You can mirror me if you like. So seated twist, hands to your knee and the floor behind you as you just turn gently, gaze towards back of the room. So it takes a little bit of skillfulness to cultivate mindfulness. Notice how many times your brain wants to skip along and think about something else. So it's especially when there's lots of things to worry about, it really requires some skill or some focus to be with your breath here. And on the inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, twist to the other side. And let's just do that one more time each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. We'll move with the breath now, just a little bit faster. And then inhale, lift, unwind, lift all the way up. Exhale, last side. So please come back to center now. And you're resting your hands on your knees. And now you can bring your right shoulder across towards opposite knee. And lift up. Imagine that your body is making the shape of a wave, crashing towards the shore, curling in towards the shore, and then inhaling up. One more time each side. Good. Shoulder towards knee. Head also releases down. As you inhale, feel the vertebra rolling up and stacking. And then last side. A sense of long diagonal reach. And then rolling, unfurling back up. So now please bring your hands behind you. I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. You bring your hands down behind you and lifting, rather than hanging the shoulders, lifting out of the shoulders. And just bring your feet as wide as your mat in front of you. You're lifting all the way up and let your knees go side to side. Just as simple as that. Windshield wiper knees, we sometimes call this. And as much as you can, letting your knees release all the way down to one side and then all the way down to the other. Okay, next time your knees come to one side, it doesn't matter which, walk your hands around in the same direction and spiral up. Lift all the way up. And then keeping that direction or that vector, you can come down to your forearms and let your head relax downward. Okay, and gently, slowly, you can climb back up to your hands and reach your arms around. So you're exploring this kind of wonderful range of motion through arms and through hips, all the way back around to the other side, and now spiraling up. So pausing here to notice if your breath is still full in both sides of the body. There's a little bit of a restriction or a little bit of a twist here. So notice if you can bring your breath evenly into the left and the right lung. And then when you're ready to come down to forearms, it's more of a restorative pose. And notice if you can bring your weight evenly over both forearms rather than on the one. Let your head relax. Couple breaths. Okay, and then we'll come back up to hands, winging back around to center, and then you can bring your hands behind you once again, bring your feet back into parallel hip width, and then lift up into a table pose. So lift your hips right up, let your head release back. One more breath here if you can. Keep lifting up through hips, through belly. And then let your hips come down with the exhale all the way back down. And now feet can come together, knees open wide, and forward fold into Baddha Konasana. Let's come all the way back up and draw the knees in. Holding on behind your knees, leaning gently back, draw the knees in towards you. So finding your balance on your sits bones, we're coming into boat pose or Navasana. So here you are on your sits bones, and if you feel like having a more gentle practice, you can stay here, or you can begin to titrate further along in this pose. Just coming to wherever it feels like you can be stable. 5 breaths wherever you are. Good, and then feet to the floor, and a second time come into Baddha Konasana. This time maybe a wider diamond shape or a tighter diamond shape, depending on what you did last time. Just take a different shape and take a forward fold in that way. Anytime you're in a forward fold, notice how the breath begins to expand into the back body as well, and really feel that happen. Allow that to happen. Allowing the back of the lungs to expand with your inhale, and gently release with the exhale. Okay, and then please come all the way up. So I'm just going to turn around towards you again, but you don't have to. You can stay wherever you are. And then extend one leg out. You can mirror me if you like. Other leg comes in, open arms wide. And you can begin to reach up and over into this side angle stretch. So some of you want to stay high, pretty high up. Or some of you may be able to wrap your index and middle fingers around your big toe. That's called a yoga toe grip. Some of you may be able to bring the forearm down inside that thigh. But wherever you are, feel that you're opening these ribs towards the ceiling rather than curling them towards the floor. That's where you're going to get the interesting stretch. And when you're ready to come out, inhale, lift all the way up. And then the hand that just led you, full palm on the mat, and begin to lift up into Wild Child. It's kind of the opposite shape. It feels really nice, and begin to really feel how your skin stretches. And then the fascia begins to release, and the soft tissue, and the muscles, everything opening on that side of the body. Coming down with the exhalation, and changing sides. Reaching your arms out wide. Up and over. I was just talking to my brother yesterday, who's a lawyer in LA, and he's started to do yoga at home, like I think a lot of people have, and he's, very much of a type A lawyer. And he said that he wishes that he discovered it when he was in college or before. What a difference it would have made to his athleticism, to his focus, to everything. And I was like, yeah, I told you. And then inhale, lift all the way up, palm to the mat, and lift up. So really, such a beautiful thing about yoga is that it is accessible to everyone. And then please come down. And you're at home, so I can't see you. So if you have any questions about any of these poses and they don't feel right to you, or your knee hurts, or you need to modify and you're not sure how, email me. Okay, I'd love to talk to you about modifying any of these poses. And in fact, if you have something nearby and you want to write down a question as you practice, so you can remember to ask me questions, that might be a really good idea. So you can come to child's pose. Similarly, it might be just nice to have something to write with so that you might want to journal after your practice. So when you're ready, please come up and out of child's pose into all fours. Just a couple of cat-cows. Inhale, lift tailbone and crown. Exhale, draw in. So you can really accentuate this in the privacy of your own home or wherever you are. Inhale, lift. Lift tailbone, lift crown. So you're really allowing the spine to mobilize, bring space between each of the vertebrae. And then please come to a neutral spine and lift your hand that's facing me towards the ceiling. So that would be probably your left hand. And lower. And the other hand. And lower. So now, once again, lifting that first hand, whichever side that was. And then on the exhale, you're going to sweep it through as you bring your hips back towards heels. So you're sweeping it through. We call this thread the needle and rest on the side of the face. And just a couple breaths once you get there. Okay, and then inhaling, please come all the way up, sweep open. And once again, thread the needle, sweep it through, hips back towards heels, rest on the side of your face. Okay, and then coming all the way out, and lower hand. Just noticing how one side of the body feels quite different from the other. And now let's try the other side. Reaching arm all the way up and sweeping through. So one more time, everyone. I just have to plug in my monitor. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sweep through. Good. And then come all the way back to center. And now we're going to come to hips over knees. Walk your hands forward now. We're going to come into a pose called puppy. So your hips are over your knees, your arms are reaching forward, and let yourself rest on the forehead. If that's too much, you can bring weight onto your elbows. Coming up now to hands beneath your shoulders. We're going to come finally into downward facing dog. So spread your fingers, reach down through your knuckles, tuck your toes, and please lift your hips as you slide your chest back towards your inner thighs. So your feet are parallel, your fingers are spreading. Lift your tailbone, lengthen your spine, and let that last pose, that puppy pose, inform this pose. Feel the length of your spine. Feel the openness of your chest. And then you can pedal your feet. And then finally, when you're ready, let's slide forward into a strong plank. Lower the knees, lower the torso. Inhale, cobra, press into your 10 toes, lift up. And exhale, come down. And inhale, come back up through that cobra shape. And this time, up through all fours and into downward facing dog. Looking to the front edge of your mat, step or hop, forward fold. So feet are hip width apart here. Let your torso pour forward down towards the floor through the crown of your head. And on the inhalation now, reach arms widen up until palms meet overhead. And on the exhale, bring hands down to heart space. So we're going to move into a few sun salutations, and they're just modifications of classic Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, reach your arms wide up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lift and lengthen until you're at a table spine. For you, that could mean your hands come to your knees instead. You really want that long spine here rather than a rounded spine. And then please bend your knees, hands to the mat. Step your left foot back. Lower the left knee, untuck the toes, lift all the way up. As you lift all the way up, release your hips down, lift your heart. Hands can come into Namaste. This is Crescent Moon Anjaneyasana. Okay, on the exhale, hands come down to the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, and step that back foot to join the front foot. Forward fold. On the inhale, reach arms wide up. On your exhale, bring hands down to heart space. Inhale, slide up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, send right foot back. Lower the knee, untuck the toes, lift all the way up for Crescent Moon left side. Okay, exhale, bring hands down through the heart space to the mat. This time, please step both feet back into a plank. Lower knees, chest. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Pause here to take a couple of breaths, regroup. And then looking to the front edge of your mat, either stepping or hopping, forward fold. Inhale, reach arms wide and up. Exhale, hands down to heart space. Inhale, reach arms wide and up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. So last time we started the round stepping left foot back. This time step the right foot back just to change it up. So you're on the ball, the back foot. If you want a more gentle practice, come back into that same shape we just made before, lowering your right knee to the mat and making that crescent moon shape. Otherwise, stay on the ball, the back foot, as you lift all the way up here. Everyone bring hands to Namaste. Down to heart space. Back to the mat. Back foot hops forward, forward fold. Inhale, reach arms wide and up. And exhale, hands to heart space. Last side, everyone. Inhale, reach arms wide and up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back. And again, you can stay here. You can lower the knee behind you. Lift the torso up. This is warrior one, balancing warrior one, or you're in low lunge. One more breath here. On the exhale, bring hands back to the mat. This time we're moving through a full vinyasa. Stepping back through three-legged dog or downward facing dog, you choose. Moving through your vinyasa. And joining in down dog. Couple of moments to enjoy downward facing dog. And then stepping or jumping into forward fold. On the inhale, reach your arms wide and up, palms meet overhead. And on the exhale, please bring hands down to heart space. So I'm just going to step back a bit. Everyone, please bring your feet together. You can face me if you like. We're going to come into chair pose, and I want you to see what's going on with knees in chair pose. So bring your feet together, hands to namaste, and then come into Utkatasana chair pose. Sink a little deeper. Yeah. Hug your knees. And just have a look down at your knees for a moment to see where they are. Try not to let your knees shift around. You really want your knees to be parallel as we come into chair pose with a twist. Parivrita Utkatasana. So sinking a little bit deeper into your chair pose, begin to turn to face each other. You're facing me. You can stay here or you can bring elbow across to opposite knee. But not at the expense of your knees shifting around. Your knees need to be parallel. So that the twist is in your spine and not in the hips. Maybe arms go wide. Good. And then back to center. Other side. Maybe the arms open wide. They don't have to. That's more advanced. Hands meet back to center again. Come back to center. On the inhale, sweep arms widen up, root down to rise. And on your exhale, slide hands down to heart space. I'm just going to turn to face you. And come into Tadasana, mountain pose. We're going to come into tree pose. So you know this because we've done this already in a little vignette earlier this week. Begin with your right foot as your standing foot and begin to come into tree pose. So especially if your heart rate is elevated, use your focal point to smooth out the breath and to be focused on your pose, your asana. Rooting down through your foot, lifting out of your standing hip, lifting up through heart space. So you could stay here, or you could begin to bring your hands back down to heart space if they're not there already. And then maybe take a little soft bend in your knee and bring the ankle over the knee. This is a new balance that we haven't done yet. So you're kind of making the figure four with your legs. You can stay here, which is interesting, or you could begin to get a little deeper into this pose. Maybe the elbows meet the knee and the ankle. As always, if this feels like it's too much, back off, come out. When you're ready to come out, slowly coming out with control and stepping down. On your inhale, reach your arms widen up. It's like you're clearing the space for the second side. And on your exhale, draw hands down to heart space. Shifting your weight now over to the other foot, whichever one you didn't just do. Please make your way into tree pose on this side. if you want to try that figure 4 balance, just a soft bend in the knee, ankle lays over the knee, the thigh externally rotates, and beginning to gently, slowly explore sinking a little bit deeper, maybe hands coming down or elbows coming down to ankle and knee. So easy does it, moving slowly, focal point, breath. Coming up and out when you're ready. Stepping down. If you're like me, you probably also have one side that seems a little bit more precarious, less stable than the other, and that's totally normal. So on the inhale, let's just sweep arms wide and up now, and just catching one wrist with, let's catch the left wrist with the right hand. I'll mirror you. Bring your feet wider and just up and over to one side, pulling that top wrist over to stretch the side body. And then lifting all the way up. Other side. Good, and then inhale all the way up. Bring your arms out wide. Look back to the front edge of your mat. Turn your toes in that direction. Bend your knee. Please dive your hands back to the mat and take your vinyasa. So vinyasa is your linking pose. It's either knees, chest, cobra, back up through dog, or it's coming down from plank into up dog, and we'll work more on that. So let's lift your right leg all the way up and step it through. So here we are in a lunge, high lunge, knees off the mat. If you feel like this is challenging for you and you don't like this pose, you can lower the knee down. Please bring your left hand to the floor or a fist. Some of you may want to work with a block sometimes. Have a big book next to you. Bring your hand to that big book just for a little bit of support or height. And then please lift your right arm all the way up. So either you're here with your knee off the mat or your knee is down. 2 more like that. Close. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. And inhale, lift. Okay, exhaling, everybody bring both hands to the floor. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, everyone, and then plant the heel open so you can open out into Warrior 2. So here we are in Warrior 2. Reach back, reverse warrior. Exhale, find Parsva Konasana. And then a second time. Inhale, reach back for reverse warrior. And a second Parsva Konasana. So this is an open level class. You can bring forearm to the thigh and explore this, which is already very challenging to roll these ribs back. Or you can try to touch floor with fingertips to get deeper into the groin and the hip area. And then on your inhale, please come all the way back up. Fantastic, that's challenging. Lengthen the leg and find triangle. So in triangle, imagine that the backs of your arms and your shoulders and the backs of your hips are all reaching and rolling back into an imaginary space behind you. If you had a wall, you can try doing triangle against the wall. a really nice way to get the roll the ribs and the shoulders back into that space. Okay, inhaling, come all the way up and out of triangle, called Utthita Trikonasana in Sanskrit. Bend your knee towards that front edge of the mat, coming back through Warrior Two, that's the way. And let's move through our vinyasa. So if you feel like you've had a lot of vinyasas, your wrists are starting to bother you, just step to the front edge of the mat and we'll meet you there. Otherwise, hands come down to either side of the front foot. The front leg can slide either back into dog, or you can slide it all the way back up into a three-legged dog if you like. And you can move through your vinyasa. So this time I'm going to show you Chaturanga Dandasana, coming onto plank. From plank, lowering just above the belly. Inhale for up dog. Knees are off the mat. Exhale, down dog. So notice which leg was in front, everyone. And then step the other foot forward. So if you are at the front, were waiting for us at the front of the mat, make sure that you step the foot that was just active behind you. So for most of you, that might mean that your left foot is now facing forward. And then you're going to open up into Warrior Two, the other side. Reach back, reverse warrior. Exhale, Parsvakonasana. Once again, reach back, peel back, feel a sense of love, a sense of opening through your ribs, your intercostal muscles, opening all that, maybe even looking up. And then second side to Parsvakonasana. You can find that long length once again, or you can play with fingertips to touch the floor. Lots of variations in this pose. And coming all the way back up through Warrior Two, we're moving into triangle, everyone, Trikonasana. 3 to 5 breaths. So notice if your shoulders are moving forward, try to get them lengthening back into that imaginary plane behind you. Okay, and then inhale, please come back up to that lunge. And then you're going to bring your hands down to either side of the front foot, come to the ball of the back foot, and I'm just going to finish up on this side. Either you're here in lunge or the knee is at the mat. And then here, inhale, open up arm wide. Exhale, lower. 2 more like that. Inhale, open. Exhale. Please do 1 more on your own. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good. And now everyone, bring your hand down, both feet back to the mat, or back into plank. Lower your knees, lower your chest. Untuck your toes. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, let's peel back, child's pose. Okay, we're going to come up to a little bit of a kneeling pose. So you're just going to come up here and tuck your toes and see if you can come to a little balance here. turn chest towards my direction. And back to center, almost like kind of a lighthouse, slow moving, and then other side. And come back to center, wonderful. This time you're going to come back to turn towards me, and then see if you can hook into a little bit of a twist. And back to center. Last side. Good, and come back to center. Hands to the mat, knees to the mat, untuck your toes, and then you're just going to lift your knees up just a little bit and release. If that felt good, you're just stretching your toes the opposite way, up and release. And let's finally walk our hands all the way back out. Downward facing dog. So lifting your outside leg all the way up. Please step it through. And then just go ahead and walk around until you're coming facing me with wide angle feet. Feet are wide and parallel. That's it. And you can bring hands down to the mat. Or the floor. You might even be off the mat. So you can bring your right hand to the floor just beneath your face as you open out left arm and look up towards thumb. And lower. Beautiful. Other side. So as much as you can, you really want to have long legs here. And again, if you're bending your knees, you might want to bring hands to a block or a book. Just have a book handy. Anytime you're in this kind of forward fold, and you're finding that you're rounding or bending your knees, hands to a block will help you. And then please bring heels in, toes out, and walk into side lunge. You're just lunging to one side. So this is interesting. It's a great stretch for that inner thigh. Not everyone loves the way it feels in your knee, so if you don't like it, stay there for a couple breaths and then come back to center. If it's interesting to you to lift your heel and lower your hip all the way down to your knee, try that side lunge. Maybe lift one arm, maybe both. So open level class, you don't have to do all of this. Okay, let's come around to other side. So maybe you've been here in high lunge or you're waiting in that center, and then try it to the other side. So either exploring a little bit of a side lunge or lowering hip down to raised heel. I hope you can see me. These toes are flexed towards the ceiling. My hip is coming to the raised ankle. Maybe one arm lifts. Maybe both. Focal point, slow, skillful movement. And then coming back down gently, slowly. Walk your hands around, finally to transition all the way back through a plank. We're moving into pigeon, everyone. Lower knees, lower chest. Inhale for cobra. And exhale back through downward facing dog. Please lift your right leg all the way up and send your right knee forward. Slide it behind your right wrist. Begin to let your hips come down evenly towards the floor. And just exploring for a couple moments here. How does this feel here? So if this bothers your knee, turn over to your back and take that supine pigeon. I'll show you that in just a moment. I think we've done that once before already, but we'll try that again in just a moment. If this feels interesting to you and easy, bring your hands to your hips for a moment to notice if they're forward facing. Try to get the hips parallel and forward facing. And then maybe come down to forearms, maybe all the way down. So if this bothers your knee in any way, turn over to the back. Bring the right ankle over the knee and bring your hands around that thigh. So changing sides wherever you are. If you're doing supine pigeon, again, it's ankle over knee. And you're bringing your hands around that thigh and drawing the thigh in with both feet flexed. And the next variation might be to grab onto that ankle. And if you're not doing this, instead you could, from your right side pigeon, change sides and come into left side pigeon. Deep, smooth breaths, everyone. Really feeling the breath in the back body as you are in your pigeon. And then whenever you are ready to come out of pigeon, just go ahead and take your time to move over and turn over to rest on the back body. Just turning right over, excuse me. Bring your knees into your chest, hug them in, lengthen down through the back of the head, the shoulders. Let the head roll side to side. And then come back to center, open your arms out wide. Let your knees roll over to one side. Just let them roll all the way over that side. And then you can rest your hands on that knee, turn your face away from the knee, close your eyes, and enjoy this supine twist. So I'm just going to sit up, but I'm going to continue to cue you verbally. Inhaling, coming back up to center with your knees, and let your knees now come over to the other side. Roll them all the way to the other side. Arms are still out in a wide T shape. And turn your head away from your knees. Close your eyes. Supine twist on the other side. Please come back to center finally. And bring your feet to the floor, hip width apart. Come back into a neutral spine in alignment, head, shoulders, hips. Just take a moment to feel how that is true. And then bring your hands down to either side of the hips, palms facing to the mat. And press into your feet to lift your hips. So this is bridge pose. Once you get to that first place of resistance, bring your shoulder blades towards one another a little more, even the elbows a little more towards one another to get a little more height. And then maybe you can interlace your hands behind your back, pressing the little fingers into the mat to spin your inner thighs up. So there's always space behind your neck. Once you get here, please don't turn your head any longer. You're just here exploring this gentle inversion. If it's not comfortable to interlace your hands, explore holding on to the long edges of your mat instead. Three more breaths. And then undoing your hands and letting arms go out wide. Roll down one vertebra at a time until you come back down to the hips. So we're coming towards the end of class, everyone, and if you are following along on one of my Spotify playlists or the other one, mine or Jeff's, you can now just take a moment to go all the way to the very end of the playlist, so that's the music you'll have for this last part and for your Shavasana. So then when you're ready, please come into a happy baby. Index and middle fingers are going to wrap around your big toes, lift your heels up, let the knees draw downwards, release your tailbone down, feel how lovely it is. The whole spine is on the mat. Roll the head, just the head first, just to kind of free up the neck and the jaw, and then roll across the whole spine. So some people will find happy baby to be challenging, so you always have to modify your practice. If you feel like this is causing you to kind of curl up, back off and just hold on to your knees. You really want to get a nice long relaxed spine in this pose. Okay, and then you can bring feet to the floor, knees open wide. If you have something warm on nearby, you can put something warm on. If you have lights on, take a moment to turn lights off. Get yourself super comfortable here as we move towards Shavasana. Just a couple more moments here in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is feet together, knees open wide, closing your eyes, feeling your whole body releasing down to the mat. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to lengthen your legs and your arms. Whatever you have to put on you is nice, just to get warm for Shavasana so you're really comfortable and warm. So I'm just going to sit up to read something to you, but please stay in your Shavasana. This is Sutra number 53 from the Radiant Sutras. Gazing out at space, be aware of multicolored luminosity permeating everywhere. The blue sky filled with rays from the sun. The night sky dark, yet crisscrossed by the light of a billion stars. How can this be? All space is the same, inside you and far away. Lose yourself in spaciousness. Come home to your true self. Allowing yourself to float, to let go, to to expand, to release, just here in time and in space. Please feel free to continue to rest in Shavasana for another 5 minutes or longer if you like, if this feels relaxing to you. If you'd like to sit up and bring hands to Namaste, feel free to do that now. In gratitude for all of those who are helping others right now in their time of extreme need, to all the first responders, the doctors, the nurses, and other people who are working and risking their lives at this moment to help support other people, let us dedicate this class and make the sound of Om together to end class together. Please take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste.